Well, welcome everybody. My name is Kelly, as you know, and I am here today to show you some pretty exciting things. I'm going to show you how to upload a PDF pattern piece into Affinity Publisher. We're going to make a few edits to it, and then we're going to import into Cricut Design Space, where we'll be able to have a cut file that is to size. Don't have to worry about trying to find 1-inch squares and concerned about proportionality. So it's really fun. It's relatively easy. So I say we just dig in. How about you? So the first thing you're going to want to do is download, for this demonstration, the free Wristlet pattern. This is from Sally Tomato. We're only going to use one piece of this pattern, and we do have permission from Jess. So that's cool. Always get permission if you're going to be doing something for yourself other than for personal uses. So go ahead and download the pattern. Make sure you put it into a folder or file that you can easily access, and then we're going to move on to the next step. So I'll give you a second to do that. Okay, so we are now in the Affinity Publisher program. You can download this program for a 90-day free trial. I believe it works. It may have watermarks, but it should work just fine. It's also on sale, to my knowledge, until the end of the month for half off. So if you've ever been interested in doing any kind of desktop publishing, or just need a really powerful tool to do your pattern editing like we'll be doing today, this is a great tool. I use it for a lot of things, but today we're going to use it to edit a pattern piece. So let's get to it. You're going to go to File, Open, and you're going to go find your pattern that you saved earlier. So we're going to click on the Sally Tomato free wristlet, and you'll be prompted by the program to load all the pages or load some of the pages. We only need to load page 3 of this particular pattern. So go ahead and put 3 in this field here. And before I forget, I want to remind you of something. Some pattern designers will make their their patterns password protected, which is certainly their right, and they're trying to retain their design files. However, for us to open them in this program, they need to be unprotected. And the workaround for that is to simply open the pattern piece you need in Adobe and then print that pattern piece to a PDF itself. Then you'll be able to open that particular PDF, and you won't be given any warnings about needing a password. So that's that. So we have our page here. We're going to import page 3. Very important that you have the DPI set to 72, and you can leave the defaults as far as font replacements and all that. It's not really important, but go ahead and leave those. So page number 3 only, DPI of 72. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And the pattern piece is loaded. Close this thing here. Now what we want to do is we want to remove any of the text that is text or boxes that is surrounding the pattern piece. The stuff that's inside here is just fine to stay. So we're going to use click our mouse and start getting rid of these little pieces here. So just find them, click them, delete them. Make sure you're not deleting any of the pattern pieces. So we'll come down here, delete that, and delete that. It just takes a little bit of time. You can also do your mouse select and collect more than one at a time, and then this guy. Now here we have selected a line of the pattern piece. We don't want to get that. We want this little piece here. So hit delete. And then what you can do is take your cursor from the far left-hand corner and then just scroll over the whole page and see if you've missed anything, but we haven't. So we're good. Might as well right now. It's a good time to go ahead and save your file in the native publisher format. So just go File, Save. I'm going to overwrite my existing file called My File. Now you're in the, yes. So now you have a editable version, and we're not working with the PDF per se. Again, now all these things can stay because it's on inside the pattern. Next, we're going to work on deleting these pleats. Now the pleats are cute for the pattern, but I want to show you what you can do to edit patterns to your own liking. So we're going to click on this little line here, hit delete, and click on that line, hit delete, repeat here, repeat here. Now in order to have a cut file that works in Cricut, there can be no open lines, or this will not actually turn into a cut file. So we have to join these two lines. I've deleted the little pleat lines. We need to join this box, as I said earlier. So you're going to come over here and you're going to click on the pen tool, and you're going to put your cursor once on the end where it's open and once on the end over here. It's going to form a join box. That's it. Now you can come over here and deselect. Now we're going to do this one. So we click on here. We're going to hit the pen tool. Put your cursor there, cursor there. It's joined. Deselect. And you have now completed the pattern piece. So we're just going to do one quick check. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Document Setup. Make sure it's 72. I have to change my document units to inches. You don't have to. Inches, that looks good. Hit OK. And I'm going to show you one more fun little tip here. If you go to File, and you're going to go to Spread Setup, you can tell it's already set to 8.5 by 11, and that's because that is the size of the pattern or the paper piece that this pattern will print on per the designer. However, in the future, when you want to get creative, you can change the dimension size of the page to the size of your Cricut mat if you wanted to have everything, a cut file, do more than one piece. So it's pretty powerful, but for now we'll just keep it at the 8.5 by 11. So you're going to hit OK. And it's a good idea to go ahead and save your file again. So go File, Save. So why don't you take a few seconds and get caught up. And the next thing we're going to do is get this ready to export. And we're back. So we're making fantastic progress. You're just going to be amazed at your results when we get done, which is not too far away. So what we're going to do now is going to go File, Export. You're going to click on the JPEG little icon here. That should be set to JPEG best quality, and everything else is fine as default, and hit Export. And go ahead and save this file to someplace that you'll find it again. I'm going to put mine, overwrite my existing file. I want to let you know that as of this most latest version of Publisher, when you hit export for JPEG, even though it says save as type Affinity files, it actually will save it as a JPEG, but it's a small little bug that I have brought to their attention. But you're fine, so go ahead and give it a name. I'm going to overwrite my file, hit save, say yes. Okay, so if you want to, so this file is now ready to use. It is a nice size pouch, but we're going to do some edits within Cricut. So when you're ready, follow along. Okay, so now we're going to open up our Cricut design space. This is also a free software. It doesn't work unless you have the Cricut Maker, but if you wanted to play around with it and test it and do this tutorial, you can without owning the Maker. So we're going to click on New Project, and then we're going to hit the Upload button, and we're going to click this. Now browse to where you stored your JPEG file and double click it. What we're going to do over here is we have options for how we're going to edit this, and we're going to go ahead and hit, just for the simplicity, hit Complex, and then hit Continue. Now I had done this previously, and I found out that I had not joined these lines right here carefully in Publisher, and if those lines are not joined perfectly, it becomes one big image. So we're going to click on the Erase button here and click this background area here. If you click this background area and the entire thing becomes checkerboard, that means that you missed a nod here, a nodule. So just go back and make sure that they're joined. I know they're not perfectly curved, but they are more than sufficient. So now that we have that, we're going to hit Continue. Continue. Come on. And we're going to save it as a cut image. And now you already have a name if you want, My File Cut. We'll call it My File Cut 2. If you want to make some notes for yourself, you could. And then you're going to hit Save. Very important that you hit Save as Cut Image, okay? So now hit Save. And now we're going to click on this image. And we're going to click it once so it's highlighted and click Insert Images. There we are. Pretty amazing, huh? All right, so why don't you get caught up with me, and then we'll come back and make some minor edits before we do the finalization of this pattern. It's we're making great progress though. So I wanted to point out something that is very cool, that this pattern piece is 2 sides. There is, in fact, it's so much to size that it's exactly 10.481 inches and 7.061 inches wide. So sometimes the designers think that they are, it may actually add an outside border, but these are the precise measurements of your pattern piece. And if you ever wanted to test it before you, before you test on fabric, you could print this file or cut this file to paper and compare it to the PDF version you have. But I am uber confident that it's perfect. So we're going to make a few changes to this pattern. So as it is right now, this piece is the full-size pattern piece without the pleats, but we're going to make it small to accommodate our particular tutorial. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to unlock the file. You could do it there, you can do it up here, and we're going to reduce this by 20%. So I've already done the math for you already, but all you would do is just take the values of the width and the height and adjust them there. So I've done the math, so the value is, we're going to change this first value from 7.061 to 5.6488. And then just hit your tab key to get to the next field, and that one's going to be changed to 8.39, 8.3948, I believe, and then hit tab key. So Cricut will automatically round these up to the next, to 4 decimals or 3 decimals, which is fine, so don't worry about that. And now you go ahead and let's lock it. Let's make sure that it's correct though, folks. 5.649 and 8.395 is perfect, so lock it. Sometimes it doesn't always take it, so just verify. So now we have this cute little 20% reduced version. I'm going to cut 2 at a time. So we're going to click on this once, and we're going to duplicate it. So there's different ways to do it. I'm going to right click on, this is, by the way, obviously this is a PC, so right click on it. Now I'm going to hit duplicate. And you can see now there's 2 of them here. So I'm going to take the one on front, and I'm just going to drag it over here right next to it. And just for the fun of it, why don't we flip it so that it'll be easier for the machine just to cut those 2 lines. Yeah, flip horizontal. Now, I'm going to give them a little bit of space. And what you're going to, if you select them both, usually you hit your shift key, select them both, and then align top, just to make them exactly the same so they cut nicely. And then I want you to look at the canvas. So the canvas is, as far as what's going to be cut, 11.454 by 8.395. Remember now, our fabric was cut to 9 by 12, so 12 inches wide by 9 inches high. So you can see it's getting pretty close to the edge there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this file, it's now kind of grouped together, and we're just going to scoot it up a little bit so that it can fit comfortably on the canvas, because our canvas is 12 by 12. So we have plenty of room down here as far as the canvas, but our fabric is 12 by 9. So always keep that in mind. I can probably go a little bit more over here. Now you have done all this work. You have these 2 adorable pattern pieces ready to go. What we're going to do is you can save it. So let's save our project while we've gotten this far. Let's call it, I don't know, let's call it the Kelley's Pouch. You call it what you want. Kelley's Pouch. Save it. That way we can come back and make it over and over and over again. saving slowly. All right, so now you have learned so far how to import a pattern piece into Publisher, how to remove some of the lines and the excess areas and graphics around it, how to join nodules so that you have a solid pattern piece. You know how to get it into Cricut. This is true size, and we're getting ready to actually cut on some fabric. So get caught up with me. We'll take a couple of seconds break, and then we will finish up. So we're just about ready to cut this onto our fabric. I showed you, or I will show you, that you want to have your mats prepared. You can either have a 12 by 12 mat, or you can have the 12 by 24 and have your fabric one on top of each other and do it all at one pass. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you basically through photos that I've used 2 different mats, and I have placed my lining and exterior fabric on these individual mats. But it's kind of cool because it'll cut 2 at a time. You're going to find there is minimal amount of waste, which is always nice, and very precise cutting. I don't know, I'm kind of sold, but you knew that. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to hit the Make It button. Once you hit the Make It, it's going to sort these images into a demonstration mat. So now you can really see if it's going to fit, because you know exactly your fabric dimensions and you know which mat you have. So the next thing to do is you're going to, let me pause this because I need to actually plug in the machine so I can get the prompts, I believe, to show you. And then once we get to the cut part, the rest of the demonstration will be via photos, and I think just photos. So hang with me one more second, please. And thank you for your patience. Okay, so I have my Cricut plugged in to the PC and I have it turned on. So now what we're going to do is, and before I forget, I want to tell you one more thing. When you are exporting the files from Publisher, you want to have them in the orientation you want them to cut in Cricut. So at some point in time, you can see if I had flipped these the other way, it would be kind of a waste of fabric because it would cut, well, first of all, we put our fabric 9 by 12. But anyhow, keep that in mind with your placement of your pattern pieces within Publisher, and also obviously how you set up your fabric or whatever medium you're using on your mats. All right, so we are ready. We've already hit the Make It. Now we're going to hit the Continue button. And we're waiting patiently for the machine to talk to my PC. So what you're going to do here is, because I am using cotton fabric, I'm going to select cotton. My fabric is interfaced with woven fuse, and it's been sized. So basically we're cutting through cotton and a layer of woven fuse. So hit cotton. And you're going to be prompted. So first thing I like to do is under the pressure. For now I am selecting more pressure. Very important that you have the rotary blade. This blade it does come with your system. I had to think about that for a second. And this one is what can cut fabric. It's very, very sharp. So what would happen next is, and I can't do any more on this particular tutorial, but I'm going to load the mat, and we would hit cut. But I don't have a mat loaded because the rest of it's going to be done via photos. But that would be the next step. You would load your first mat, you would hit cut, and then once it's cut, you're going to load the next mat and hit cut again. You don't have to redo all the steps for the pattern, and that's it. So that really is how easy and not complex it is to get a full-size pattern piece into the program. There certainly are more complex pattern pieces that may take more time to adjust. So far I have done all kinds of overlays and some pattern pieces besides this one with no difficulty at all with these basic tools and techniques that I have shown you today. So that's the end of this part. If you want to actually make the little pouch, I will show you in the following pictures how to do that too. So thank you so much. Have a great day.